Hello, my name is Nana Mokhtari and today is September 20th, 2019, and we're going to take a closer look at the sheep brain and locate its different structures. As much as I would like to wear these goggles, they're actually kind of too big and they keep falling off, so just for this presentation, we're just going to let them sit down there. As I was mentioning before, we're going to look at a sheep brain and we're going to look at its different aspects of its brain. Before we start, I would like to look at the dorsal aspects and identify some of those important structures. Also, before we go on, I want to show that these are the meninges and they were pulled apart during the dissection. And let's turn our attention back to the dorsal structures. And right here, we can see that there are the frontal lobes and the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the temporal lobe. The occipital lobe would be located back here, and a longitudinal fissure that would separate the two hemispheres of the brain. Along with the longitudinal fissure, there's also another fissure that we should pay attention to. That's pretty important. Is we have a lateral fissure that separates the frontal lobe from the temporal lobe. Also, when we take a closer look, we see that there are different ridges and grooves to the brain, these different linings, these little different deep aspects and raised aspects. When we look at these grooves specifically, we see they're also called sulcus, and the raised aspect or the ridges is called the gyrus. To take a closer look, we can gently pull the cerebellum away from the cerebrum. I'm so sorry, it fell apart. And take a closer look at some different aspects. Back here, we see the cerebrum, and inside there, we see the pineal gland, that little aspect right there, and the corpora quadrigemina. And down here, the cerebellum. Now let's look at the ventral aspects. That was funny. Up here we see the olfactory bulbs, and right here we can take a closer look and see let's take it apart. Right here we can see, we pulled apart the meninges during the dissection, but up here we can see the optic chiasm, the optic nerve, and the optic tract. And as I mentioned before, the parietal lobe and the midbrain would be right here, followed by the pons and the medulla oblongata and the cerebellum, as we mentioned before. This aspect also shows us the mammillary body that's located around here. And also, we can pull apart this longitudinal fissure to show the corpus callosum. How awesome. Let's take a closer look at the brain by separating it completely. Okay, oh dear. When we take a closer look, we can see the corpus callosum right here, and the thalamus, the pineal gland, let's use this one, the pineal gland, let's do it this way. Let's take a look this way. So up here we can see the hypothalamus, the mammillary body, the midbrain, the pons, the medulla oblongata, that would be a little lower than the pons, inferior to the pons, the spinal cord, and the central canal would be raising away from the brain. But also we can see the corpus callosum, the optic chiasm, the thalamus in this area right here, as well as the pineal gland. Also, when we take a closer look, we can identify different areas that show the white matter. Let's do this in a different way. you can see in this area, if we were to pull apart, there's different aspects of the brain that show gray matter that has like a grayish tone to it. And also the white matter due to the myelinated axons will have a more whitish tone. Okay, thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day.